Welcome back. This is Fantastic Pains and How We Hide Them. And I'm not Chris.
And I'm not Karina.
But we're here together.
As usual.
And we did a thing.
Yeah. We have our name. All official, like right behind us all the time.
Marvel at the mastery of the artwork.
It took me all of 1 hour.
Don't admit that. They don't need to know.
It shouldn't have taken an hour to do that, though, honestly. Like,
for those of you listening, we finally put our name on our little curtain behind us.
Our backdrop, our sound curtain.
Our backdrop. There we go. That was the word I was searching for.
It looks good.
It does. I'm very pleased.
Good. Like I said before, as soon as you're not pleased, it's over. Podcast done. Podcast who? Don't know her.
Don't know her. We're a little ridiculous today. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we're starting season 2 now.
Whoop,
so
whoop.
There's changes. We're going to be doing 1 upload a week.
Yep.
For sure on Saturdays. And then we're going to maybe do Wednesdays if we come up with random videos to put it up on Wednesdays. So Wednesdays maybe.
So we'll maybe do our funny ones.
Yeah.
Our compilations of nonsense.
Yeah. Maybe start doing TikToks too. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
TikToks are so hard for me because I don't like looking at my own face.
Yeah.
Like, this is easy because I can look at just the camera and talk.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But
yeah, if you look up a little bit.
If I look up a little bit, there I am. But I'm blind, so it's okay. As long as I'm not wearing my glasses, it's all good.
That's fair. What else? There was another thing that was changing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the format. We're going to go for longer episodes because we're getting sick of cutting off right when we start getting into the flow. We get right into the zone and then we're like, oh, well, that was a full hour and 30 minutes.
And we don't have a lot to cut out these days.
Yeah, no, we've just gotten more streamlined.
Yep. So we tend to be one takes as we go through.
So we'll have like an intermission and move on from there.
Yep.
So you can watch it in installments throughout the week. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Or sit down and binge it. Get our numbers up. Whatever works.
And please, please, please interact. Wherever you find us, let us know.
Yes.
Let us know where you found us, how we're reaching you, what you think of the podcast.
Yeah, all feedback is good feedback.
Yeah, questions or topics. It's all good.
Yeah, we're working more on the Facebook now. So we'll actually be up and running, and we're thinking about a Discord. We'll see. That's a whole nother beast.
And I'm not savvy enough to like have a lot of input on that, so.
Yeah, I'm going to have to ask a bunch of people.
Unfortunately, that's on you.
Yeah, well, I'll figure it out. But yeah, engage.
That's where my brain went to.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1.
Yeah. What time is it now?
Time for you to get a watch.
It's time for the weekly check-in. Oh, segues.
It's time for the weekly wait. What? What?
What?
My brain just like gave up on the thought halfway.
It's because you've had a bad week.
I did. I had a very long, very difficult, frustrating week. And kind of like out of left field. Frustrating and weird.
Yeah.
And just, it was a mess. Because that happened on
thing.
like Monday, Tuesday.
It was Monday.
Yeah. So the very beginning of my week, let's just say something traumatic happened.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. So for me, that meant like I had kind of put everything on pause while I'm trying to sort through my brain. And I've been sleeping a lot.
Trauma
like,
brain.
I'm like, escape. And then sleep. Yeah. So keeping busy working on the porch with Randy's been really good for the parts that I can do, which is nice. Can't do them for very long, but the parts I can do are really good. Yeah. And then you made me be all accountable and stuff and reach out for help and things.
And she did it.
I did.
She sent an email to her therapist, like a big girl.
Yeah. And then I got a reply and I was like, cool, I don't have the energy to like really read this. I did. I did read it. But yeah. I'm like, I just don't have the wherewithal to like cope with my life right now.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to be here. So there we go.
And then because you were accountable, I have to be accountable. So on Monday, I'm supposed to call my hips doctor and see if we can take an image of it.
Yep.
Because it's getting worse. Like, noticeably worse.
Like labrum pain.
Yeah, I really think that's what it is. because it was so mushed before. So we'll see.
Well, and who knows what they were able to stitch where.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to put it all back together. What do they do if they like can't save the labrum?
I think I don't know, actually. I wonder if they'll just cut off the
remainder of it.
Yeah, like the shreds. So
like, do you need a labrum?
Yeah. The way
do you really?
The way it feels when it hurts, it makes it feel like it's important. You know, that like, ooh, that really hurts when like I'm stepping.
Sharp. It's almost like tearing.
Yeah.
Like it's like a rippy pain.
But well, whatever. I thought they resized the hip bone so it shouldn't be catching anymore.
Mm-mm.
But I'm hypermobile, so I guess that doesn't really stop me.
Yeah. Well, and then on the other hand, it could be like psoas.
Yeah.
Getting caught in like scar tissue. Right,
because they didn't mess with my psoas at all.
Yeah. So for both of my hip surgeries, what they did was they went in and they lengthened the tendon.
Yeah.
And then they did, like, they shaved everything down, which is just so cool to see the pictures of them. Like, and here's what your bone looks like before and after.
The last time I did it, they were surprised I asked for the images.
Really?
Yeah, the nurse Chris was like,
I always want to know.
They don't usually give us images, and I was like, my guy does. And so he looked through the folder. He's like, oh yeah, here, you can have these. I was like, yes.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, because every time, well, and I mean, last time I told Dr. Kong to take lots of pictures.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I want to know, I want to see.
Just take a video of it.
Like, I just want to see the whole thing. Journey into my hip socket.
It's a magical
new documentary.
Journey. You can watch the surgery on YouTube, like people that have the educational ones.
Yeah, but it's not inside of me.
That's true. It's not your specific hip, but
I want to see the insides of me. I guess that's weird. I don't know.
No, I get it. I mean, I'd feel the same way. I like seeing all the changes they make too. Mm-hmm. Like they take a ton of the bone off.
Yeah.
It looks really raw when you see it, and they're like all pink and fresh.
Yeah. And you can see like the marrow.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. I remember when I did my first one, my PT was like, you had your bone shaved down, which is, it's going to feel like you kind of broke your bone. And I was like shocked to hear that because it really didn't hurt that bad.
Right.
I was like, this is nothing. This is cake. And then the left one happened.
Yeah, left was bad for both of us.
Yeah.
Never get your left hip fixed. Just leave it in.
It's just cursed.
Yeah. That's what we told Benj.
Yeah.
Never do the left.
Something wrong with it. And poor Star.
Oh, God.
Her left one is her bad one.
Yeah. Of course. It has to be that way.
We tangented right over your recap.
Not really.
Nothing else going on.
No, it was a bad week for pain, just in general.
Yes.
Which is making me moody. Like, I've been just up and down all week.
Mm-hmm.
Left and right.
Well, and then... Were you out of your meds last week?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then I was missing something this week for a little bit. Yeah. And my whole balance was off, and my body freaks out.
Like, no equilibrium. We don't know what to do. We're going to throw a fit.
Yeah. Little temper tantrum.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I wish that the light didn't make it so I can't read.
I just can't see anything. That's just where I am.
Yeah.
Did you put the fidgets away?
No.
Where did I put mine?
Under your butt.
Did
right
I?
There.
Aha! I found them. All by myself. With
and
no
now they're
help
gone.
from anyone.
And yes, I'm drinking a frap out of a cup. Because my straw disintegrated.
He collapsed it.
Too much force in my lungs.
You should not be putting that in your lungs.
That's where I like to keep it. That's what you do with the collapsed sections. You fill them up with your frap, and then you have it for later.
You're just like...
Yeah. What's wrong with that? That's not normal? People don't just do that?
Where does the transfer take place?
Where there's no esophagus? You know, like where the flap doesn't work? It just happens. Like, swoop. I don't have to do anything. It does all the work for me.
I would like some frap now.
Well, it's more like, you know, you got to fill it up and then it evacuates. Yeah. So, that's me in a nutshell.
Great.
Great job.
Very cool. Way to go.
Yeah.
Oh
my recap was lame.
I don't know. I learned something new about where you
keep my
keep
coffee.
liquids.
Yeah, no. That would be horrible.
They're like, I don't know why he keeps getting
It
pneumonia.
happens, though. Like, I'll be drinking something, and then my esophagus is just like, no, it's going to sit there. And then I have to breathe.
Yeah.
So...
The worst for me is when I get, like, that drainage stuck at the top because my swallow isn't working. And then I just wind up breathing my spit repeatedly.
Yep.
It's great. It's very graceful.
Very cool.
Very cool.
So
Wait
cool.
again.
Never. I don't
So
want to do that.
What are our topics today? Because we have a couple fun ones.
We do. There was one that I didn't write down that we were reading off of the site. I can't remember, but we could talk about pharmacy drama.
Your favorite topic.
I have a lot. I have a lot to say about that and prior auths because, oh my God. Every month is a battle and has been for like 6-7 years now.
Every time.
And then we have the experience with imposter syndrome and just talking about imposter syndrome in general.
Yes.
Because we haven't really talked about it.
Yeah.
Not
I mean,
yet.
we mention it a lot and we refer to it a lot,
Yep,
but we haven't really broken down how that works.
Right.
For illness. So it's interesting when you like read the definition for imposter syndrome and they talk a lot about like not feeling qualified for a position you're in.
Yeah.
Is basically the gist. But I'm like, that's not
Oh no.
all of it.
My coffee spilled.
Remember when I said
You jinxed it.
I knocked on wood, it's not my fault.
Well, knocking on wood doesn't mean you didn't jinx. It just means you didn't spill.
Well, then you should have knocked on wood.
Watch this.
See, your fault.
now,
Now that you've cleaned it up.
now that all my spoons are gone, it's nap time. All right, let's get on to a topic then.
Alrighty.
What do you want to start
Let's
with
start
first?
with pharmacy.
Yeah,
Pharmacy drama is fun.
it's not though.
Because we have two very different experiences. Because
Well, here, yeah, talk about what your experience is like because it's pretty streamlined.
so like pre-Kaiser, I went through a lot of the same things that you did.
Yep.
Where they would either, and we're talking about like filling pain medication specifically is the really big one that they.
I've had problems getting other stuff though.
Yeah.
Like weirdly, like heart meds and yeah, like lisinopril,
That's
or
just weird.
thyroid meds that I need.
They're like, yeah, we have that. No, we don't have that. Come back in an hour. Oh, we didn't put it in the system. We're gonna have to call your doctor.
Oh, God.
7 times.
Yeah, no.
But now, because I'm with Kaiser, my experience is really streamlined because the doctor will put it in, and then I go directly to the pharmacy and go, here, he just put it in the system. Can you fill it? And they fill it. And they have an app, which is great. So that's been not a huge burden for me, but I know for you, it's totally different.
Well, I've had really good experiences and really bad experiences. Before we knew what was going on and I was in pain management, it was super, super annoying because we were still trying out new meds all the time, like extended release, and none of it works in my system. My body always freaks out.
Yeah, you don't like extended release.
No, at all. So there would be times where I would go fill something, like I tried the Butrans patch and I absorbed it too quickly, so I couldn't keep using them, and I turned them in to my doctor. She wrote a new prescription for fentanyl patches, which was even worse.
Oh, yeah.
And filling that was a pain in the ass because I had to go in, and this lady was like adamant because of the registry. She knew that I had the Butrans stuff. And I was like, well, I turned it in. You can call my doctor. And she did. But my doctor at the time was a nurse practitioner. Ugh. So she didn't accept it. The pharmacist was like,
too.
no, we need a doctor. And I was like, okay, but that is there's no overseeing doctor. It was her practice. Yeah. Like, she can prescribe things. So that was fun. That was like 4 days of hell. And then, because after that, I ended up in the hospital because of the fentanyl patches. Yeah.
Yucky.
And that makes sense, like, why they would do it. But for the standard stuff, when I want...
Right, like, especially for things that you fill every month.
Yeah.
That you're like, this is normal.
Yeah. I had a good pharmacy called Cordant for a while, for like 3 years.
Oh, okay.
They take the prescription gets faxed into them, so by the time we were out of an appointment, we'd just go straight there.
Mm-hmm.
It would be ready, in and out, and they could deliver. So if Jen couldn't do it, they could deliver it to the house.
That's
it was
nice.
really nice, and they always had everything that I needed in stock, even if we tried new things or it changed. But they only work with certain doctors, and when I moved from the bad pain management place to New Health, they didn't realize that happened. So when they found out I was using a different doctor, they're like, "Oh, this doctor isn't on our approved list. We can't work with you anymore." And they were bummed because they liked us.
Aww.
We liked them. Like, I knew everybody's name there.
That's so frustrating. You're like, you build a good team and then suddenly something happens, or like someone leaves the practice.
Yeah, and we tried figuring out how to get the certification. It'd be something that New Health would have to do, and then work, I think, exclusively with Corden. I'm not sure.
That's a lot of people to like try to transfer over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that wasn't going to happen. But we've been using Walgreens, and I always have fights at Walgreens. Like, it's either we don't have it, it'll be in next week, which is always fun.
Yeah.
Especially when it's been on the books for like the entirety of the month.
Right.
You think that they'd have a system for knowing what they need and when.
Which is ridiculous because, like, with the contracting, you can't have them send it to a different one.
Right.
Which is just...
Exactly.
And you've had one removed from the list, haven't you?
Yeah. The one closest to us, we had to not use them because they would always have problems filling. It was a Safeway pharmacy. But with my practice, when you move out of a pharmacy, you blacklist it so you can't use them again. So that you don't jump around and play games. Which wasn't the goal. It was basically pharmacy shopping.
Right.
So we found... we live in Aurora, and we found a pharmacy down in Parker that we use.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But it's next to the hospital, so they usually have everything.
That's nice.
They're more understanding because they deal with more pain management stuff, I think, in general.
Yeah.
And it's just a nicer neighborhood.
That's good.
So.
That was the other thing.
Yeah.
Like the socioeconomic piece.
Oh, my God,
I think is huge.
That's what
so shameful.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Oh, it's awful. Sorry.
Very fancy.
What?
It was very fancy.
I was like, I had hair in my face, but I couldn't tuck it because my ear is inside of the thing.
Yep.
Yeah, pharmacies are not.
No,
fun.
Prior auths are what kill me the most because I have to do prior auths all the fucking time, and the idea that you have to wait for somebody from the insurance or Medicaid or Medicare or whatever, to look at it and then make a judgment. Like, I don't think they need this. Let me call their doctor who's busy and has a life.
Right.
And I can't get a hold of. Ever. Like, I can't. Yeah. They're not having, they have, at least at New Health, they have their own person who handles everything.
Right.
For that, which is nice. But even then, the prior auths take like 4 days just to hear back from the doctor's office. So anytime you need something, if you have a prior auth, they're like, oh, well, there's the next 4 days, like the week's done.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, and having the person at the insurance company be like not a doctor,
right?
Just somebody who's like,
yeah, that was the thing because we both watched this TikTok about how unbelievable it is that someone who does not have a license to practice medicine essentially gets to practice medicine to tell you whether or not you need that thing that your doctor who does practice medicine and does have a license to practice thinks that you need.
Well, like, you'd imagine someone who's a doctor would have gotten into the practice to help people and take the Hippocratic Oath. So there'd be less bias. There's always going to be bias, but there'd be less. But as a person who's just approving things, you can be as biased as you want. You could be like, well, they're poor, so obviously it's a scam. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Like, it's just a mess.
Yeah.
I hate pharmacy days. Like, I hate filling.
I know, because you're always like, is it going to fill today, or are we going to have to wait 3 days?
Yeah, is it going to be forever? Will they even fill it? Because I've had pharmacists just go, we're not going to fill it for you. Because they can. They can just be like, nope. Be like, okay.
Which is just ridiculous. I don't understand why that is. And it's like, they make these like super snap judgments based on whatever you're picking up.
I feel like a lot of it has to do with being invisible. Like, when I walk in, if I don't have like my cane or anything and I'm walking normally, I look perfectly fine. Like, no one's gonna be like, oh, this person's on a high dose of pain meds right now.
Right.
I mean, I'm not on a high anymore. I used to be a lot higher. I'm going down, which has been good. But you know, they do. They'll look at you and be like, oh, this person's perfectly healthy. There's no reason for this. But you're just like, you're not my doctor.
Right. It's just so stupid. It's like when I use handicap parking.
Oh my god, I bet that's fun.
Yeah. Well, and people will just give me like dirty looks. And it's funny because like here, I feel like people are more of the mindset of like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So I've had a lot of okay, whatever. Like they'll look and they'll make that like weird face, and then they're on with their day. So I've not had anyone like confront me, which is nice because I think I would lose my shit.
Oh my god. Depending on the day.
Yeah. Like catch me on a bad day. It's not gonna go well. One of us is going to jail. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that same kind of you're invisible, and nobody can see like what all's going on and why it's going on.
Right. That's why I like having the aids. They make it more visible.
Yeah.
But even then, I hate using them. So it's like lose.
Well, it's like my thumb brace.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. Like the first time I wore it to work, I was explaining that I had just like thrown out my hand and it was fine, but it hurt. And so they were like, "Oh, this is not your year." And I was like, "No, this is every year."
Yeah.
All the time, forever. And then it kind of hit home. I was like, you need that like visible representation.
Yeah.
Before people like really get it.
You just label everything that's in pain. Get clothing that can highlight areas. Be like, today it's this part, and it might, you know what I mean?
LED.
Yeah. Like, why is that red? Oh, because that's in a lot of pain right now. Oh, do you need to see a doctor? No, I'm fine. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
This is fine.
Perfect. This is fine. It's all on fire.
Yeah.
Everything on fire forever. Yeah. It's like when I tell people, like, does it shorten your lifespan? No. We get to live in pain for a long, long time.
We're not vascular.
Fun times. Yeah.
Fudge.
Which is interesting because I haven't heard from anybody like older with EDS.
I think a lot of people that follow us are older.
Maybe.
Like not like kids.
Well, yeah. No, I mean like 60s, 70s. Like I want to know what it's like at that point.
Yeah, maybe at that point you just don't give a shit.
Right.
You're so burned out on everything. Just meh.
Which is fair because so many people go through life completely undiagnosed.
Yeah.
Or make it into their 40s before a diagnosis turns up.
That's insane. I mean, it took us years. It took us like 8 years total to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, and then like thinking back, there were so many signs and symptoms that I wish we'd paid attention to. Like the migraines I had in school, that wasn't normal.
Oh yeah, lots and lots of little things that we just assumed were different.
Yeah.
Like it's another thing on top of everything else.
And it's just so interesting to me how it all compounds. And I can't imagine the like social emotional damage it does to go undiagnosed into your 40s.
Oh my god, yeah.
Because it did us like did us a number and we made it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
In comparison to a lot of people.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, especially from finding it and then diagnosing.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how difficult it would have been without your Kaiser stuff.
Yeah. We were really lucky with like the timing.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't been at that job very long. And then from there it was fine. But yeah, the timing worked out great.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
A week later after we found out EDS was the thing.
Yep.
It was good stuff.
Yep.
It went quickly from it doesn't seem to be Marfans to it could be EDS to it is in like a week.
Right, exactly. Because for a long time we chased Marfans because that was all we had. That was the only option that had been presented to us.
Yeah. And I looked least Marfansy than anyone.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even... No, that's stupid. You couldn't be. Okay. It just... Doctor says that it could be, so... That's what I'm telling you. My bad.
My bad. Yes.
Because I had that happen a lot.
Yeah. I remember because I was seeing MCPN at the time, and she went through and like did some tests and was like, "You definitely have a connective tissue disorder. I don't know what it is." And I was like, "Okay, so there's that confirms the one thing."
Yeah.
And so chasing it down from there was crazy, but it did. It moved really quickly, like really quickly.
Like the amount of time we spent trying to get Marfan's diagnosed was insane. It was like 3 years of us trying to get it, to get anyone to like even look at us.
Right. I
had referrals to everywhere, and people wouldn't like actually pay attention.
Yeah.
It was a pain, and then you find EDS, and bam.
Yep.
It was meant to be.
And that's the thing, is it's always horses, not zebras. But zebras do exist.
Always.
And we're zebras.
Yeah.
We're the weird thing.
It's got to be that way for everyone with like an invisible illness, like.
Especially things that have so many like comorbidities that go along. Like EDS is so funny because like when I say EDS, I'm talking about the whole umbrella.
Right.
All of the things that we know are common comorbidities, and like these things go together. Like I think somebody called it the unholy trinity.
Yeah.
Of EDS, MCAS, and POTS.
Mm-hmm.
I think was what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I say EDS, I'm talking about everything that comes underneath that kind of banner.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's a lot that goes into it, and if you're not looking big picture, it's easy to miss.
Yeah.
And if you're not a confident communicator, it's hard to get your needs met too, and we went through a lot of that.
Yeah, oh my god, dude.
And a lot of it because of imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Oh my god. That's most of my doctor's visits were like that because I was like, this is a thing, but it probably isn't a thing.
Right.
I'm just not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Or they'd ask me straight up something and be like, not really.
Right. You're like, sometimes, but it doesn't
of.
like apply because it's not all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
Yeah.
Jen used to hate that. That's why she talks over me now. It's because I used to do that. Mm-hmm. I don't anymore. Now I just say whatever the fuck I want. I stopped caring.
Well, and you have a good team now.
Yeah, it's
who listens, and you like are confident that you're going to be heard.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
which I think is so important because it is. It's hard to be confident communicating with someone if your first thought is they're going to just shoot me down.
Yeah. Or even when that does happen.
Well, and trying not to take it hard when it does, because
mm-hmm.
that's the other part. Is like you get so discouraged when someone's like, "No, there's nothing wrong with you."
I've had so many car rides home with Jen that have just been in utter silence while I'm trying to process everything and stay calm and be like, we'll just have to find something else. Like,
well, it's like when I left that first doctor that I saw who was like, you don't need a diagnosis, and I like walked out and I was like in tears.
Yeah.
I was so mad and so upset.
Jeez.
And it was Jen was the one who was like, I don't like her, you need to go find somebody else. And I was like, oh, okay, let's do that. Because
mm-hmm.
at that point I was like, fine, I'll give up and that'll be it. And I will just silence myself.
Well, I mean, we were at the end of the rope at that point.
Right.
Like, even finding something else that fit was, like, amazing.
Yeah.
There's the thought that we could find something else.
Right. Well, and it was so funny when we found EDS because it checked off, like, all of the boxes.
Yeah.
Whereas for everything else we had looked at, we were like, some?
Yeah.
Like, more than half of those apply to me. But nothing was... Like, there was always that, like, but it could also not be that.
I wonder what other illnesses are like that. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Where you're like, oh my God, that's what that is.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Because you hear about EDS patients finding out late, but it's got to be that way for a lot of people who have...
Right. Like,
the
complex
rarer,
illnesses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was trying to think of something, like, similar that could apply. But... Like, I know dystonia is a big one. Where they have all these, like, muscular issues, and it's not always visible. But I've also seen dystonia go along with EDS.
Oh, wow.
And so there's just, like, all of these things tie back together.
Yeah.
And EDS is so weird because it affects absolutely everything, and it could affect it in whatever way.
Yeah.
Who knows? And then the doctors who know you look at you and you're like, okay, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Your body is weird. We have learned.
I mean, I'll take weird over a mystery any day.
Yes.
Hearing that it was a mystery drove me insanely nuts.
Yeah. Because that just meant they weren't going to try.
There's a clinical trial for some vascular EDS. I wonder if it's a therapy or if it's a medication.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, my grandfather sent it to me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
okay.
Papa was like, check this out. Clinical trial for the treatment of vascular EDS. He still thinks we're vascular. I don't see it.
We're not, though. We have fragile veins, but not in like arteries,
right,
or organs.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's like we have fragile veins and bad blood pressure.
Yes.
Things that,
well, and then we wind up like kinking stuff.
Yeah.
And then the pressure builds, and then they just pop.
like, you know, you do just normal people things.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Bodies are stupid, guys. Like, don't take it to heart. This is just the car you're driving for the time being. It'll
That's
be fine.
true.
Yeah, it's like I said with Busy. Like, I have to separate it all.
Yeah, like when you were talking about identity politics and like being like labeling yourself as a disabled person.
Yeah.
That hurt.
Yeah.
Like, because I was thinking about, I was like, man, that would suck if I had to do that.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I can't apply labels to me.
Yeah.
Like, I think of me as a verb. Like, I am doing.
Yeah.
I am not a stagnant, like, thing.
No, that's your
ever
body.
changing and learning and growing and developing new viewpoints of, like, the more information I get on different things.
Right.
So, yeah, the labels are hard, man. And when you take labels in and you take them to heart, even harder.
Yeah. What are you? Normal. Fine.
Normal.
Happy?
I'm not normal.
Question mark?
Question mark. Yes, that's me.
What am I allowed to be?
Right. Yep.
Like, God.
That's a big one. Like, what am I allowed to... It's like when I asked for my handicap placard.
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel like a fraud. Here I am.
I'm supposed to have one. After hip surgery, they were like, you're going to need this. And I never filled it out. I wanted to, but at the same time, I didn't.
Yeah. Well, and I only did it because my husband had been nagging me to do it.
Yeah.
He's like, you need it. What are you doing? I'm like, but I don't need it, and I'm a big fraud, and nothing is real.
Just a big faker. This whole thing's fake. All these doctors are wrong.
It's hard. It's so hard. Especially after years of, like, not only medical neglect, but, like, trying to come to terms with what your body's doing to you.
Yeah.
Without knowing what it is. Like, there's some emotionality to that like, I can't describe or put into words.
No, it's a very distinct feeling.
Yeah. Like, you just feel hopeless. And then part of you is like, I just want to burn it all to the ground. Because I must be crazy.
Let's raise it all.
Yeah. Throw salt. Nothing will ever grow. What was one of your biggest moments of, like, imposter syndrome?
Man, my biggest. The biggest.
Or, like, most notable or memorable?
I have a lot. I have a lot. Like, okay, the biggest one would have been this last time I moved pain management clinics.
Yeah.
Trying to describe what I had, because it was still pretty soon after we had gotten EDS and I was still undiagnosed.
Right.
So I was like, here's what it is. But, trying to explain that you have this thing that you feel that you don't have.
Yeah.
To a doctor who's going to be in charge of your pain management, if you don't want to say something wrong.
Right.
It was so awkward. I was like, it's EDS, maybe. My sister is diagnosed. I might have it, but I don't know for sure. And he's like, okay,
Yeah.
I understand. He knew what EDS was, which was huge.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dang.
I miss him. Dr. Chastain. Why'd you have to go and become a big doctor? He moved up.
Moving up in the world.
Yeah, he moved head
How
of surgery
dare.
where he was happier. So, that's a good thing. But that whole conversation was just excruciating because Jen wasn't allowed to come back with me either. So I'm sitting here and I'm like trying to talk about what I have to deal with and what I was on before. And
yeah.
That moment was just, I was like, I couldn't convince myself enough to convince him.
Yeah. That.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't have that problem, but in my head, there was no way he was going to buy it because I couldn't buy it,
Right. Well, and I
So-
think that's why we've learned to, like, throw humor in as this, like, softener.
Yeah.
Like, we break things up with humor so that it's not, like, super serious.
That's
and
me at
some
the ER.
doctors like it, and some doctors hate it.
Yeah.
ER
docs usually
hate it.
The doctor on call will hate it. The nurses will
think you're hilarious.
Yeah, and so will like the imaging techs.
Yeah.
That's been my overall experience, is that when you're dealing with everyone else, you can be flippant and they just get it because they're having a rough night too. They're working, you know?
Yep.
But then the doctor comes in and you're not crying and in pain like everyone else. And
you're wasting my time.
Yeah.
How dare.
Oh my God,
and I wish,
nuts.
like, have you ever wished that you could be more dramatic about it?
Yeah. I've
That's such a
consciously
weird
tried to, but
sensation.
it doesn't. Yeah.
And then we turn around and we're like, it's not real and we're faking it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're like, I couldn't play it up if I tried. I don't even know. Like, but yeah, I couldn't play it up if I tried. Like, I'll fantasize about, like, reacting the way I want to react.
Yeah.
to things. But I never do unless I'm, like, 100% alone.
Yeah.
Or at, like, 9-10 and I can't help it.
Man, even at 10, it's humor.
Yeah.
I mean, when I woke up from back surgery, I was just making jokes about it. Like the one of the guy nurses was like, "I like your hair," because I dyed it purple and blue. So I was like, you know, fuck it. If I'm gonna be paralyzed, I want colorful hair. Because they're like, it could happen. I was like, cool. I don't have to feel my legs. That's half the work. Done.
Right?
You did it.
It's so funny.
So I was making Mardi Gras jokes with that guy.
Yes.
And I mean, that was insanely painful. But that's the shield you gotta use.
Yeah. It's interesting. Because, yeah, no, I remember, even as, like, a kid, I remember, like, wanting to be more forthright about things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why can't I react like a normal person who would be like, I'm in pain, I'm going to cry and whimper.
Right.
Why can't I do that?
You're a freak.
Just
deal with it. You have no emotions.
I'm like, I want someone to coddle me sometimes.
Yeah, that'd
but
be nice.
only very specific times. I'm like a cat.
On your schedule.
You gotta guess. And if it's the wrong time, I might bite you.
Yeah. There you go. There's the boundaries one. It does change, like.
Yeah.
Especially like with doctors and stuff. Like when you have the connection with some of them, and then like they'll have a shift change, and you get someone new.
Yeah.
And they're like the polar opposite of the last person you were talking to.
And you have to kind of like readjust.
Yeah.
Yeah. Change gears.
God. Yeah. God, just thinking about it is draining.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't want to go to the urgent care. I don't want to go to the ER.
Explaining to more than one person.
And you have to explain it to like 5 people when you go in.
Yeah. I'm like, I just want one person or all of you come gather around. Let me tell you the thing. And then I'm going to not talk about the thing anymore.
Yeah. That's why I try and use the one hospital for everything. Because they have all my...
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll pull it up and I don't have to explain it.
Right.
Like, well, he's been in here for EDS and he had this back thing removed. Like, because all my surgeries have been near or in Parker Adventist.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's all on file there. Like,
I heard Parker Adventist was doing laughing gas for childbirth now.
Interesting.
I don't know if that's actually a thing, but since I have already decided that whatchamacallums are out of... What the heck am I trying to say? My brain is going intubation, and that's not right.
Yeah, no. If they're intubating, it's a whole different journey.
The one in your back, help.
Oh, epidural.
Yes, there we go. I've already decided that that's not on the menu, so laughing gas would be fun.
In theory.
In theory.
Yeah. It might be funny to watch in retrospect. It might not be funny at the moment. But yeah, no, trying to do an epidural.
Mm-mm.
Especially with like what happened with my back, where I had the adhesions, the arachnoiditis.
Right.
Where it stuck to itself and the scar tissue would cause more scar tissue and built up. And
yeah, I'm in compression and no.
Yeah, no, that was not fun.
I was worried about spinal, actually, when they did the spinal anesthesia the first time for my hip. Like, part of me was really concerned. I was like, oh no. Mm-hmm. Genetically, this is not a good idea.
Yeah. They did. No, I think they did. They asked me last time beforehand if they would do the spinal. Mm. Like, are you okay with it? You good?
Yeah.
Do you feel confident? I even let them put in dexamethasone.
What is that?
It's a steroid, but it's like toned down prednisone.
Oh, okay.
And I told them I have bad reactions to steroids, but they're like, well, just use a little. And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, go for it. Let's
Keep
try it
swelling
and see what
down.
happens. Nothing horrible happened, so
That's good.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
But I mean, they went over all that beforehand.
That's good. Yeah, instead of
I had
what I
options.
had
Yeah.
happen, which was crazy.
I just got a really good
anesthesiologist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine was not. She was a little gung ho. And it did not work in my
just
favor.
hate women doctors.
I don't know why. I really think it's like a communication style thing, because I am like flippant and I use humor to
Yeah.
mask, and I'm not like, oh, I'm in a lot of pain. And they're like, clearly you're fine. Why are you here?
Mm-hmm.
Also, everything coming out of your mouth is offensive to me. And I'm like,
Everything.
I'm so sorry.
Your existence is just annoying me, but I'm the one taking care of you now.
Sometimes it does.
Yeah.
Or they're like, or they'll hear one symptom out of like a list that I'm giving and go, oh, that's this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, but you ignored everything else on that list to tell me that one thing. Because when I was talking about the spasms and like, you've seen how they ripple underneath, right?
Yeah.
I was talking about it, and so I was like going through the list of symptoms that I had prepped for her, and got to like, and yeah, sometimes my eyelids will spasm. And she goes, oh, it's myokymia. And I was like, body wide? And she was like, yep. And I was like, what the fuck? What? She was like, yeah, the rippling. Yep, that's what it is. Yep. And I was like, but the like,
I think we have a problem with stuff like that, especially because it's very similar to looking for horses and zebras.
Yeah.
Because they're looking for a common explanation to a problem that's coming from a complicated issue.
I'm like, it's not normal. Nothing is ever normal in this.
Yeah.
It's just not. Ask my massage therapist. He'll tell you. He's always so funny. He's like, you're my favorite person to work on because you're just so interesting. And because I don't react to pain, so he can do whatever he wants.
I giggle in pain. It's the damnedest thing. Like when they were doing the bad versions of the injections in my back where I was feeling it,
Ugh.
I'd giggle when it would hurt. And they'd be like, you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Just hurts.
I do that too, actually. Like if I hurt myself, I laugh.
Yeah.
I remember if I'm ever in pain, like doing massage, I've learned to just like take a deep breath and sigh it out because you have to let the muscle tension go.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there are times where I'm like, we're going to pass out now. And he's like, please don't do that. But yeah, no, it's interesting too, like how your boundaries develop over time working with so many different practitioners.
That's true.
It's like thinking about my body boundaries now versus my body boundaries 5 years ago. Totally different.
No
Completely different.
Yeah. Through the whole journey. I remember when I was younger, like early 20s, we'd watch Dr. House and they'd do like spinal taps and stuff. And I'd be like, God, I can imagine what that would feel like, but I know I'm never going to have to do that.
Right.
I've done like 7 spinal taps now. Like it does not even a thing. Take my fluids. I don't care. Tap me like a tree. Drip it all out. Find out if I'm sick. Do what you need to do.
Take it all. Just
like,
take it.
Well, like when they tried to put the spinal in it took them 30 minutes because they couldn't get through the scar tissue.
Ridiculous.
I just got stabbed over and over and over and over.
Yep.
The anesthesia would wear off. They'd have to reapply it, stab me some more.
Oh, God.
You know.
Like you do.
Normal things.
Even like the modesty thing.
Oh, God,
like
yeah.
Completely gone out the window.
Yeah. No, I used to be super, super scared of like any, like wearing scrubs and stuff.
I was like, I don't want to wear your robe.
Yeah.
Fuck that robe. No. Like, I'm not wearing a gown. Get out of here.
Yeah.
I'm keeping my pants firmly on my body. And now it's like, no, you can, it's fine. It's all good. It's all fine.
last surgery, the nurse would follow me around to make sure everything was closed. And she kept like letting go on accident, or like she would reach for something else and drop it. And she would apologize and like, I don't care. It's not, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah. Yeah. At a certain point, you're just like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like there was, I went to do acupuncture and she was telling me, she's like, so you can leave the bra on, just take your shirt off and we'll work on like your abs. And I went to take my shirt off and she was like, oh, and I was like, what? And she was like, oh, well, I was going to step out and give you a minute. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And she was like, no, if you're comfortable, it's fine. I was like, yeah, no, I don't care.
Yeah. I wonder if anyone else has had that experience, because
Yeah.
you just kind of get over it.
Right.
When you do a ton of things.
Yeah. Well, and we have learned to like not be attached to the body.
That's true.
So we
treating
can,
it like as it's another thing.
right. We
is
can
a lot
look at
easier.
it very clinically without being like, I don't know, self-conscious, I guess.
I never asked you, before surgery, did you have to do the COVID bath thing? Like, when I went in, I had to wipe down everything with iodine, like these iodine pads.
So they give you the soap,
Yeah.
right? So it was that the night before and the morning of. And then I'm pretty sure she wiped me down when I got there. No, you're right, because they did. They gave me like those thick.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I do remember.
And like, I had instructions to do everything in a certain order.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I
'cause,
only had to do the area.
Oh, no.
So I had to do the whole leg and then like up into my abdomen. And that was it.
Maybe they just punked me.
They were like, bathe in this.
No, they were like in the
That's
middle
crazy.
of the prep room, you know, where you just have a small curtain. They're like, take all your
Yeah.
clothes off, wipe down, start with your head area. Don't get it near your face and eyes. Like, to your neck, to your chest, to your arms, to your hands. Then you'd have to do your legs and your butt. You had to do your butt last. That was very important to them. And then so you would do your feet, but you'd have new pads for each area.
Weird.
Yeah, and by the time I was done, I was just sticky with iodine.
Ugh.
Yeah, it was not comfortable. And then you put the gown on, and it like sticks to you. And
Ugh. No, I
That
did not
was
have to go that far.
COVID prep.
Weird.
And we were only a month apart.
Yeah. Well, and I had my first one done in the height
Yeah.
of COVID.
You did.
Yeah. And I don't think they did the wipe down at that point.
Yeah, probably not.
So at that point, it was like I got tested like 5 days before.
Yep.
And I was good to go. And yeah, it moved pretty quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just did like the one leg with the iodine pad.
Yeah, they punked me, man. They got me good. So,
They're
like,
like, bathe your entire body in
do it.
this.
you have 15 minutes. Get it done. Okay. Now sit here for 8 hours while we wait for your doctor to show up because we gave you the wrong time.
Oh no!
Do you remember that? Like,
yes. You were there for like.
They
was
told
like
me to be
5 hours.
be
or
there at
something.
4.
It was ridiculous.
because the surgery was supposed to be at 6, and then it got pushed back to 11,
Yeah.
and then it didn't happen because they were late, so it started at like 12.
Ugh.
And the whole time I was just sitting there, sticky.
Yep.
And
For
then-
like 8 hours.
Yeah. Couldn't sleep on it. Like, I was just bored out of my mind.
So annoying. I always feel bad after surgery because I'm like, I'm just in a hurry to go home.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I'm inconveniencing whoever's taking me home. So I'm like rushing to get out
Yeah.
every time. Yeah.
No, I get that. Like, as soon as your eyes are up, you're like, oh, tight, let's go.
Yep.
We're done.
I'm awake. I didn't die in surgery. I would like to go home now, please.
But you're having breathing problems. You should
I don't
stay.
care. I'm going home.
I had the same thing happen, though. I had breathing issues on one of the shoulders.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they numbed. It was the right arm when
Uh-huh.
they did the nerve block. It affected my throat.
See, this is why I don't do nerve blocks.
Yeah,
It's not okay.
yeah. No, it was pretty messed up. I couldn't swallow anything, so they like drink this water, and I would try
I
and
do
drink
remember you telling me, and you just couldn't swallow it.
it. Right. So I
Yeah.
was afraid I was gonna choke on it because it was gonna get breathed in or spit out.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, I don't want to be a barbarian. I think I'll just drown. I'm not spitting this out all over the place or calmly back into a cup. I'm just gonna inhale it. Great job. Now you've kept your posture. You
You
look
saved
good.
face, and now you have pneumonia.
And now you're drowning. Good job. Okay, cool. Yeah, it was
Try
sucked.
drowning in
They-
a hospital.
They really wanted me to stay. And I was like, no, I gotta go home, guys. But you have problems. I know, and I
don't
appreciate that,
care.
but I'm going home.
I told you I lied to them when I did the spinal
Yeah.
because they were like, you have to pee before you go. And I was like, I can't feel anything at all. I definitely peed. I'm going home now.
I did it.
And they were like, did you pee? And I was like, yeah, a little. And they were like, did you flush it? And I was like, yep, definitely flushed.
Oh my
I
god.
don't think they believed me, but they had to let me go.
I was gonna say, like, that reminds me of doing UAs because you can't flush after a UA.
Oh,
Like you had to prove to them
I
that
was
you
like,
went to
you
the bathroom.
didn't tell me that you needed to see it.
Yeah,
I'm like, plus, you make me like fast and stuff.
Yeah.
Beforehand. And I don't think that you gave me enough IV to like really go.
Yeah, that's always been my problem too. They don't like to pump you up with fluids until after, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, you know.
So yeah, you go home and pee rivers, but I'm like, I need to go home.
You just lie to get yourself out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
Breathing problems. It's fine. It's all good. You're gonna have to take this oxygen home. That's cool. I just need to leave.
I need out.
I want to go home now because I was tired and I didn't want to go back to sleep there because then we were gonna be there forever.
Right.
I was like, I want to go home so I can go to sleep. This is not that difficult.
It was pretty difficult.
Yeah. They were like, you need to breathe oxygen first. And I was like, this is not on my agenda.
Yeah.
Fuck your oxygen.
Oh my god.
Air is not important.
You ready for intermission?
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. Break time.
We're gonna go on a break. We're gonna try and find another straw. Or we'll just dump this one on the floor too.
No.
Right here. I've had a nice puddle.
Mm-mm.
But while we're on break, everyone needs to hydrate.
Yes.
Take your meds. Do all the things. Eat something.
Go see some sunshine, maybe.
Take care of yourself. We're gonna see the sun, so you should too.
Go stare at it.
Don't do
stare
a
at the
sun
sun.
stare. Don't get a sun stare.
I'm gonna go outside, look directly in the sun, and go self-care.
Yeah. All right. We'll be back.
Indeed.
Welcome back. How was your break? Was it startling coming back to me yelling at you? Because it startled me.
It startled me too.
That was the point. Get that adrenaline going.
He intentionally waited for me to take a drink
Yes, I did.
and then scared the shit out of me. It's great.
That's what brothers are for. I'm doing my job.
Just walk around knocking stuff over.
Yeah. I was going to send a bunch of those to you because I
love
found a bunch in a
those.
row.
They're so
was
funny.
like-
Siblinghood. You're just like,
It
What?
was that way with having roommates too, though.
yeah.
Like when you actually like your roommates.
Right. It's like having siblings.
So
To be fair, I do it to my husband too. Just like walk over and I'm like, I'm gonna stand in front of the TV. For
I
no
do
reason.
it to anybody. Like on a tangent, if someone's holding something and they walk up and they stop to me and they don't say anything, that's whatever it is going flying. It has been cups of water. It has been cereal. I have hit all sorts of shit out of people's hands for no reason other than they're just standing there not saying anything. My body or my brain's like, what do we do? Abort!
Use the distract tactic.
Yeah, but then they just stand there and glare at you afterwards and you're like,
what the fuck, man? Stop. You could have made me drop my croissant.
Vines that cured my cancer.
Vines that float my boat.
Vines that fed my children when I didn't. Top 10 vines to cure your EDS. The playlist is empty.
On a tangent thought, if you haven't watched Gus Johnson and his video Crack, go do that because it's fabulous. And
Yes.
all zebras should appreciate the masterpiece.
I feel like you're calling out all zebras now. If someone doesn't like it, they're gonna be like, "You're not a real zebra. You're more of a unicorn."
I don't know. Would you pick zebra over unicorn though?
I want a zebracorn.
Zebracorn.
I want a
I want a
one-horned
zebracorn
zebra.
stuffy. That
Yeah.
sounds fabulous.
I want to be a zebracorn. Be free in the pastures.
Until someone comes to kill you and take your horn.
Yeah, well, then they have to fight the devil, so it's the plot of
Now it's
Legend.
Tenacious D.
No, it was Legend.
Oh, I remember Legend.
With
Holy
Tom
cow.
Cruise.
I forgot about
And
that
then there's the
movie.
giant, I think it's Tim Curry, plays the like demon.
I think you're right.
That giant red.
Holy cow! I haven't thought about that movie in.
Anytime I think of unicorns,
like
I think of that movie because
I think like Last Unicorn.
Yeah, well, they're both traumatizing.
Yes.
When you're a little kid and you're like, what?
What is this?
What? Well, we should get on topic.
Yes, we're back from our nonsense and our intermission.
Yes.
So, you want to dive into a little bit more about imposter syndrome?
Yes. I don't know what to say about it because I don't have it.
Lies.
Do you see what I did there?
Wow.
A little bit of imposter syndrome for imposter syndrome. I'm meta. I'm
so
3
deep.
layers deep in this right
like
now.
a puddle.
The shallowest puddle. It's just a water drop. Anyway.
Dew on the pavement.
Yes.
That deep. So for me, imposter syndrome kind of shows itself in, I think, okay, so one of my biggest moments of imposter syndrome was after I had my shoulder work done. So, you know how every time you go for a test, you're like, they're not going to find anything.
Yep.
It's all in my head. I'm crazy. I shouldn't be doing this test. I would like to back out right now.
You mean the phase I'm in right now about having them look at my hip?
Yes, exactly. That. It's great and fun, and we all hate it. But after they worked on my shoulder, my brain tried to reason out of it that they had just like done it to humor me.
Yep.
And that they like just cut me open and then stitched it back up.
Same
and they
thing.
didn't do anything because I'm crazy and they're just humoring me. So like now that seems like a completely irrational thought, right? Like totally ridiculous and irrational. But that's definitely.
That's why I posted. One of the only posts on my Facebook is a picture of my shoulder after it had work on it, so that I can visually go back and be like, it happened. Here's what it looked like inside. This is what they changed because there's before and after pics. But I still get it with every surgery, even though there's like a noticeable difference.
Yeah.
You know, like it's. I always assume they did. They put like incisions on you, and they're like, all right, we looked at it. You're fine.
It's fixed now.
Just to humor you. Even though I've seen...
Like, logically, you know that that's not the case.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot what... Oh, Vanessa's gonna be mad.
Uh-oh.
I can't remember what I was supposed to do about that. I was working on something with imposter syndrome. And there was,
really?
It's more like self-talk. Admitting that it's real. Telling yourself that it's real. That it happened.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Because, like, first of all, your brain wants to protect you from the experience by, like, numbing it out. And then secondly, you're like, there can't be something that wrong with me because I can do all of these things. And some days are better than others. And when we have those good days, that's when imposter syndrome really shows. And it'll come through and we're like, hey, all that stuff that I have been through, I've never been through anything. And I'm crazy and it's all in my head because look how good I feel right now.
Yeah, you're not alone. That happens to us incessantly.
Constantly.
Even with childhood things, like stuff happened, didn't happen.
Yeah.
Your brain just, no, I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember it, but I don't. But you do.
I remember I made it up.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
I made it up.
That's fake. Never happened.
Yeah. What was that? The TikTok that I saw that really like was super impactful and kind of changed my thinking. Where he was like, it's not. If you're doing it by yourself, you're probably not faking it for attention.
Right.
And that was huge for me because when I'm alone, that's when I like break down the worst.
Yeah.
And I let myself be a puddle and I let myself be like self-pitying for a moment. And it's so like, it's just not fair. It is not fair that we have to deal with imposter syndrome on top of the body being haunted.
What is the origin of imposter syndrome in people? Like, because medical imposter syndrome, I feel like, is from lots of denial, lots of no's, lots of we tried this, or a lot of incredulity.
Yep.
About what you're there for, or what.
Like having people doubt your experience enough that you wind up doubting it. But I think it started earlier than that, though, because when we were young, we would just kind of reason out of it with like, everybody must go through this.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm just a freak because I can't handle it.
So we basically got together and collectively decided to have imposter syndrome.
Yes.
On accident. That's what happens when you let kids go free. They're going to get together and just be like, no, this is normal.
This is totally normal.
Dude, your arm's off. Yeah, it happens.
It's not really off. It's fine.
It'll come back. Don't worry.
That's the other hard part is because, like, when you can't get something back in after you've dislocated and you're like, just leave it. It'll be fine. It'll find its way back in. That's weird for people to hear and understand. But, like, once the muscle settles down, it's easier to put back in, or it'll find its way through jimmying.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's hard. Imposter syndrome is, like, one of the top 3 struggles for me, just in general.
I think that's fair. Easily top 3.
Yeah.
Because I'm not consciously doing it either a lot of the time. Like, it's just a background thought that always happens to be there.
Yeah.
It's not like one of those intrusive thoughts. It's like one of those ones that's just chilling in the back of the party, just like, hey, guys.
Well, it's like when I got my neck results back.
Didn't happen.
Yeah. It didn't happen.
No, don't worry about it. It wasn't real surgery. Just like your friend in the back telling you everything's wrong.
Right. They're like, that's pretend. You didn't have that.
Like, but I thought that happened for real.
Pretend.
Yeah.
It was made up. It was pretend. We didn't actually do that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
My favorite is when I dislocate my knees and then I'm still like, they're not really dislocated.
Everybody pops.
Well, like, you know, when I get stuck and my tendons feel like they got twisted up and I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is
slid it to the back.
This is probably not what I think it is. So maybe I shouldn't talk to anybody about it ever. Except that I have to have people fix it for me.
I had to have that when I was first getting my hip looked at, because the first doctor I saw was like, oh, the popping, that's just your tendon, like, snapping back and forth across your pelvis. And I was like, no, it dislocates. And I remember the day that I was in here and I dislocated in front of Papa. And so my grandfather looked at me and he was like, what was that? I was like, I just dislocated my hip. And he goes, I felt that through the floor.
Yep.
He's like, they're very different snaps and cracks and pops.
Right, a ligament wouldn't be a thump.
Yeah, that was like a full-on thunk.
Yeah.
And that thing came out.
Exactly. So that was real. That happened.
Yeah. But I've had people like, oh, no, it's really hard to dislocate your hip. That doesn't happen. You're probably not dislocating it.
So what are you supposed to do?
Blah, blah, blah.
That's where I'm at. Like, how do you get past that phase? I'm not sure how I got past that phase. Like, I mean, I still have imposter syndrome, but
yeah,
it's not deterring me from believing it anymore. It's not to the point where I can't believe it.
Right. You can hold like the same or the 2 different beliefs in your brain at the same time.
Right. But when you're searching, what are you supposed to do? I'm trying to think of like a coping skill or it's all positive talk, I guess.
Right. Well, and
you have to believe yourself over a doctor. Oh yeah. Pain journal. I'm so bad at
not even like pain journal. I think that, I don't know. Let me look through my phone, because I think there have been ones that I'll write to myself or like about what I'm going through in the moment.
Yeah.
And in the moment, it doesn't feel like doing a pain journal. It feels like venting.
Right.
But then it's there, and then it's out there, and you can.
But it's still a pain journal. It's just an unintentional one.
Yeah.
It's not one where you're writing every little thing down.
Right. Exactly. Well, I was wondering if I had one in here, because
I did it when I was having back when my back went out. I wrote down what it felt like, so I could clearly remember.
Yeah.
It was like it happened like this. It was this bad. It was bad.
Yeah.
Because even right now, I'm like, it probably wasn't that big a deal in my head, but I remember it hurt really bad. So.
Oh, here we go. I had one that was, pain is ruining my life. Every moment I spend with my pain feels like forever. So like things that I've written to myself to like vent it out. And then I can go back and I can kind of put myself back in that state of mind.
I read a haiku very similar to that.
Did you?
Yeah. When I was trying to get my mental health worked on, when I was still in the basement at the Fundy House, right? So dark times, the like worst times.
Yeah. That
basement is just a dark aura in my brain. I wrote something along the lines of like, this pain isn't temporary, but I can cope with it, was the gist. But it was like a haiku, and I wrote like different ones every day to at least be more positive about it and less fatalistic. Because
and it helps to like take it out of your brain and put it somewhere that you can examine externally.
And that's how I was kind of communicating with Jen at the time too.
Oh, that's nice.
Because I wasn't really saying it. I was, you know, when you're super depressed, you're not communicating.
Yeah.
You're a bother to everybody in your head.
Yep.
So that was how I was kind of expressing what I was going through, was by writing little things on the whiteboard. And it helped. I mean, that was the beginning of working with New Health and getting on drugs and therapy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of had to force it.
Yeah. So yeah, write stuff down, or talk to somebody else who can kind of feed it back to you
if you can,
when the moment has passed. Because I think that's been really helpful for us.
Oh yeah,
being able to be like, this is going on, and then later being able to recall it and go, oh yeah, that did happen. I was there. It wasn't pretend. You were in a lot of pain.
Find a friend who's healthy and doesn't have a problem. They'll really remember this stuff for you.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be so extreme in their heads. They're going to be like, no, you said it was this.
Right. It's crazy. Yeah, wow. I was just like looking through what I was... This one was from 2017. So I was wondering if there was one from after diagnosis. And then I get lots of like art ideas from being in pain too. Do you ever get that where you're like, this would be a really good representation of what I'm going through?
I've been doing that since high school.
Really?
Yeah. There was one. Okay, so tiny backstory. I was homeschooled for a little bit in New Mexico, where we were kind of isolated. So like, there weren't other kids around, and it was only for a year, but it was a long year for me. And I did a lot of drawing at that time, and there was a lot of isolated. Lots of pictures of like hearts that were isolated or you know, being alone stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
I used to do that all the time.
I have some really good ones.
High school.
But I need to execute them, and I'm not sure how.
That's one thing I wanted to talk about was hobbies that we have that we do when you can.
Yeah.
Like, you got to have something. And it's not something that you can always do. Like my hobby is expensive and painful.
Explain to our friends. What do you do?
I like to build computers, and not just like build them. I like to overdo it.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
They're like display computers. They're gorgeous.
That's what I go for. I try to make those showroom style, like beautifully LED lit, perfect tube lines, like hard tubing glass. Yeah. It's addictive. It's expensive. And it can only happen when I need it to. Like, I can only really do it when somebody's upgrading or if I'm upgrading.
Well, it's like you need that motivation almost.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I think if I brought stuff over here and we were, like, just messing around, I could do art and, like, crank it out. But I can't by myself. Like, I can't find that, like, go-to.
Yeah. I had that problem with this. This was supposed to be done on episode 1. I was like, we'll do this before, and it didn't happen.
And every time we kept putting it off.
Until yesterday. In the morning, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do the thing.
Right. No.
I don't know where that came from. That like drive to do something.
Well, it's because you had so much energy and you had nowhere to put it.
I really did.
And you were like, I need to do a thing. I was like, okay.
It looks good though.
It does. I love it. I just found this. I wondered if we should share. This was one of my musings.
Oh, I remember this one.
Yeah.
Do you want to read it?
Sure. So this is one of the things that I like wrote down in one of my frustrated moments, where I said, the fear of pain is so much stronger than pain itself. We are told this by behavioral health specialists and pain management teams when speaking on the management of chronic pain. But rarely are we given the smallest tidbit on how to manage pain when you have no fear of it, when pain is your constant and long-term companion. Blocking pain is something we zebras learn to do from a very early stage. But you can only block one pain at a time. The thing about our pain that people don't seem to understand is that we are always experiencing more than one pain at any given time. We have to prioritize our pain, what fire to tackle first, and let others burn on. And then I cut it myself off, but there you go. So
you're like, it's time to shut up. I'll just stop.
No, I wrote one more thing and then it didn't make sense, so I never finished it.
No, it's very true though.
Yeah, but my phone is like full of them, where I'll just get on and I'm like, I am feeling away and I'm gonna put it here so that I remember it for later.
Literally, that's the wording we were looking for last episode, where we were talking about the experience of pain.
Yeah.
where it's when it's your constant background noise, how
Yeah.
you have to just you learn to tune it out
Right.
until it changes or a new one appears, and then you have to prioritize which one is the important one.
Exactly. And which
Yeah.
one to like block out and which one to like baby, or if you need to baby something. Yeah. Yep.
And that's a good way to handle it. I mean, like right now, you're able to pull it up, recall everything.
Yeah.
Validate yourself.
Right.
It's just so hard, especially when I ran my own stuff. Even then,
I know, because you like read it back and you're like, ugh, shut up.
right? Like I'm like, he was so whiny. Like it was a bad time.
I know.
There's a reason it's whiny.
Yep. Oh man. Yeah, I did a bunch of them. So weird. Yeah, looking back on them is really interesting too, because when you find them, you're like, huh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Like I did. Oh, this one where we talk about how we refer to ourselves as we a lot,
Yeah.
and how that like tool separates you from the body. It's interesting because I've heard other zebras do it also, where
Yeah.
they're like, we spent the day in the ER, like
It's gotta
we're
be
having this problem, instead of claiming it as your own.
a
Because
behavior that you
have to.
build
Yeah.
just from dealing with it on the daily.
Right.
Because it has to be, you have to separate yourself from it. Otherwise, you would just be consumed by it.
Right. Exactly.
It would just be pain all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you feel bad about being in pain all the time because people have to deal with you. And
Yeah.
you feel guilty.
That's the other thing that we don't often talk about is like how uncomfortable normies are with pain.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Other people.
Yeah.
Normies. It's mean to call them
Normies.
normal, healthy adults who might listen to this because they don't have that kind of pain. They could have mental illness. Who knows?
Well, but even then, like,
I know.
yeah, like you still feel like that unheard piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It does make people really uncomfortable because they don't want to have to think about it.
Mhm.
Really.
Well, and especially if they don't know how to help you.
Right.
When you're like, I don't need you to help me. I just need to be witnessed.
Hear me.
Hear me, see me,
Yeah.
validate me, and then leave me alone.
That's kind of what we want to do with the Facebook stuff and Discord. It'd be nice to be able to
Yeah.
have like, an area for people to write down what they're going through during that time, you know?
Yeah.
So other people can see and be like, oh, yes, that happens to me.
Yeah.
But then you also know that it happened.
Right.
It's there.
Forever.
Well, until you
On
delete
the
it.
internet.
Like me, because I delete everything. My Facebook posts are, I have surgery coming up. That's my Facebook history.
Mine is a little less measured.
But
These
it's not
days
like you
I don't
post a lot. Yeah.
But like if I go back and look at memories, I'm like, oh wow, yeah, we were not feeling good. We didn't feel good ever.
Wake up at 11:30.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Feeling like a bag of shit. Yeah. That's how it is sometimes.
Yeah.
That's what we get. Yeah. Pain is an interesting thing. It's an interesting concept and construct. All of this.
Everything around it.
Yeah.
The fear of pain, like you were saying.
Right.
A lot of people don't realize that a lot of what they have is the fear of the pain.
Uh-huh. That like panic before the storm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even we still fall into it sometimes.
Oh God, yeah.
Where we're like, I don't want to do this.
You feel it coming on. You're like,
I know what's coming and I don't want to.
I'm backing out of this one, guys. Sorry. I'm not here for this event. You have
Time to go.
Did you want to answer a question now?
Sure.
We're going to try and get to questions at the end of episodes.
Yes.
Or things that people want to talk about.
So we had, let me see if I can pull it up here. Gotta navigate. So the
All
one
the
that we
internet.
found was really interesting was, can't find it. Oh, okay. So the guilt when passed on to children was the big one.
Yeah.
And you have 2 children.
I do. I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old.
And your little 7-year-old
Yep.
is showing signs.
He's always
has been for a long
he always
time.
has. We've always been. It's like you watch him and you're like, that's
Yes.
me to a T. But then you're like, he's little, he's flexible. Maybe he'll grow out of it, but
Yeah.
he's not. And
This child walks on his toe knuckles.
yeah, or sideways. He loves to stand on his ankle sideways.
That's something we do all the time.
Yeah.
Because somehow, like, it relieves pressure on the hips and the knees.
Yeah. It, like,
it's not a good thing you're supposed to do,
pushes
but
it out.
it feels good.
Or he just curls up into random balls, puts his like legs behind his head, and just sits there, watches TV. You're like, wow, kid, come on. And I'm worried about both of them because Rin has been a hypochondriac lately.
Yeah.
So everything has been worrying her.
Aww.
I had to explicitly go through the bite and score with her, and she's like 0. So she doesn't have to worry about that. But I'm trying not to talk to Rory about it because he's pretty sensitive to that stuff, and he would, I think, make a big deal out of everything and be worried he wasn't allowed to do anything anymore.
Right. You're like, no, kiddo, you can still live your life.
Yeah, it's just so complicated.
Gotta be a little careful.
But the guild aspect, man, when we found out, part of why I wanted to find out was for the kids. When Rory was born was when we really started worrying that this could be passed on. Right. Like right when he was born. Because it was getting worse for me at the time. And it just lined up. So that was my big driving force too. Was like, I gotta find out for the kids so that they know what to do. Yeah. Yeah. What does it feel like though, like worrying about whether or not you've passed it on? It's hard to describe. Or like if you had known prior to having kids. Would I have had kids? Yeah. Probably not. I think I would have done what Benji had started. Yeah. Stop the line. So I'm kind of glad because I love my kids. Yeah. They're fabulous people. Beforehand, I probably wouldn't have wanted that pass this on or even chance passing it on. Right. I don't know. It's hard to say. It is. I probably would have stopped at 1. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's complicated too because you never know how impacted they'll be. Right. Because we're like, our familial scale it varies. Yeah, everybody greatly. Has random stuff. And it essentially skipped dad. Like, he's almost normal. So who knows how impacted they'll be. And I guess that's going to be a question anyway. As he gets older, it'll be like we're trying to get him involved in sports and everything, but then you have to kind of meter out what sports he can do because, you're not supposed to do like a lot of running. Right. I was thinking about that the other day, and I was like, if I had kids, I think I would put them in martial arts. Yeah, that'd probably be the best. Because they teach a lot of like control. Yeah. Yep. And the control would be really helpful. Yeah. Because knowing how to move your body, I feel like is like, that's a huge factor in not injuring yourself. Right. So yeah, I think if I had kids, I would put them into martial arts. Yeah. That makes the most sense, really. Yeah. But it's hard too, because like, my husband and I have talked about having kids, and we've both kind of decided on the sped lens that we wouldn't want to prevent. I don't know. It's weird. So for us, we're like all of the kids that we've met who suffer with or deal with like heavy medical stuff or heavy mental or emotional stuff, we're still glad they're alive. Yeah. And there's still value in that. And so for me, and I think as guilty as I think I would feel, I still want to be a mom. Yeah, that's hard. Yeah, like I don't unwish the children. Right. I just feel bad. Like, because Roy for sure is going to be an issue. Yeah. And I mean, on the bright side, we know what it is now. Exactly. And I think that makes a huge difference. Yeah. And we'll be able to like spot signs early. Yeah. And know what we're looking at, know what we're dealing with. Yeah, and absolutely. We have all the coping skills that we had to tediously learn through life. I think I'd feel worse if I found out after they were like past their teens. Yeah. And if they were if you missed a bunch of stuff in their childhood. Yeah. That would probably kill me. That would be the worst case scenario. Did you just spill all over the floor? The pressure changed, apparently. Oh, wow. It's mostly on me. Give me a wipey. It's funny. These have been hiding in here, and today I was like, I'm going to put them on the table just in case. And now we need them. Yeah. Terribly. Okay. But thinking back, had I known, I probably would have done one. Like, because Jen and I were both so gung-ho about having Sophie to begin with. Yeah. And then knowing me, I would have gotten cocky because she came out healthy. Right. I think I'd end up right where I am. I'd be like, yeah, we did pass it on. 50%, man. It's so weird, the spread of it, too, because it's almost literally 50-50 with dad and then with you so far. So we'll have to see. But yeah, no, and I know it's a heavy thing, and I know a lot of people choose not to
But I don't know. Like,
You used to want to have kids, right?
yeah. Yes. Part of my concern, my big thing with, like, having kids is I want to make sure, like, I'm in a good place.
Mm-hmm.
Because as much as I'd like to be a stay-at-home mom, we still need the money.
Yeah.
So I'd have to be able to, like, commit to being a mom and working full-time still, which would be a lot. So at this point, I just want to get to a point where we're, like, fairly stable, and then I don't have any, like, big medical stuff going on. It would be really nice if we could get the spasming figured out before, because I'm like, I don't look forward to having contractions my entire pregnancy. Thank you. No thanks. And then it'll be interesting to hear about, like, the abdominal adhesions, because that was my other big thing. It was like, I want to see if we can get that taken care of.
Being pregnant might just take care of it for you.
Right?
Just stretch it all out.
Suck. God, no. Yeah. So I don't know. It's an interesting thing, and I understand that it's a very personal choice for everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's a tough call. Yeah. Really.
Well, and then, like, how do you deal with the guilt of it?
You just love the hell out of them.
Yeah. I think that's the appropriate answer.
Yeah.
I think that makes the most sense. Just love them. And watch them.
Yeah.
And listen to them.
Yes.
Hear them when they say something.
I mean, I still do it with Sophie. Like, she'll come in and she'll be like, Dad, my side hurts. But she'll say it the day after I'm like, my side pain's back.
Oh, yeah.
And
I think it's her way of, like, trying to process it.
It could be.
Yeah.
She's trying to see it through her own lens.
Yeah, exactly.
The myopic lens of your own self-actualization. That's what I tell her. Like, you really need to get out of your own head. I would never do that. No, I would.
Only in very specific circumstances.
There's a time and a place that I would do that to her.
Oh. Yep.
And then have to explain it. And then get in trouble. Dad. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. She's so funny yesterday when you brought the groceries in.
You didn't tell me? No.
What if there was something that needed to be refrigerated?
Like, I was gonna get to it. I literally brought these in, went to the backyard, and called you.
And then she rolls her little eyes and starts putting the groceries away.
Yeah.
It was great. Very cute.
She put them away wrong, but she put them away. Some of the stuff was on the floor, like the rolls.
Weren't there rolls on the floor like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it's like she just. There you go.
Go in this general direction.
Yeah.
See, that one I think has ADHD.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I could see that
for sure. That's her little struggle there. She got that from her mama.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see.
I like the way this is worded, though.
Which one?
They were talking about the ignorance.
Oh, yeah.
From family as well as doctors, people not believing you. I mean, the ignorance of doctors is a thing too.
Yes.
Because we meet so many doctors that are like, "Oh yes, you have stretchy skin." I have a stretchy everything, sir.
My all of me?
Yeah.
I'm starting to notice it in my skin too. Like, I've got, like, dimpling that happens in weird places because only some of the skin is connected to the upper layer.
Oh yeah.
And, like, the muscle layer. Like, great.
I think you have to deal with family more than I do.
Yeah.
Because most of my family is just siblings. Like,
it's also gotten kind of different, like, not living with them. Because, like, living with them, they can check in, like, daily, and we kind of do that.
Yeah.
But recently, just because, like, I haven't been doing great. Like, life's been beating the hell out of me recently. So I wasn't doing very well. I'm still not doing great, but I'm alive. Here I am. Hi.
Deal with it.
But now it's like text messages, and she's like, "Oh, Randy said you weren't doing great. Are you okay? Is it a specific pain, or is it just everything? Is it the weather? Is it blah blah blah?" I'm like, I really don't want to go through and describe everything, especially over text.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm like, I wish there was just an easier way to sum up and be like, yes, I'm not doing great. No, there's nothing you can do about it.
Can someone make an app where it's just like, you know, when you fill out those where does it hurt on the body charts?
Yeah.
Something like that, where you can just set it and then wear like your phone and be like, this clearly states what's going on with me right now. Because I don't have the time to explain it to everybody. It's like what Busy said. Yeah. Just get everyone together.
Exactly. Like, get on your soapbox and like everybody all at once.
Yeah. We're going to do this one time and that's it.
And that's the hard part, especially like reconnecting with friends that you haven't talked to in a while.
I haven't done that yet.
And you're like, yes, I had 2 hip surgeries within a year. That's crazy. And I didn't even think that it was crazy, but I was like, yay, more surgery.
That's the realization I get sometimes when I'm like, I had a tumor removed from my spine. And I'm like, what? Like, yeah, you know, they went
inside the dura.
They cut open my spinal cords are, and they took out a small schwannoma.
Yep.
Wasn't cancer.
Well, and then you have the arachnoiditis? Doisis?
It's both. It's ditis and doisis.
All of the
Yeah. Yeah, spinal adhesions, basically, where the scar tissue sticks and inflames everything, and it hurts really bad.
Well, and then it really compresses
the
spinal cord at the bottom.
It just builds on itself. Yeah. It builds all that pressure up.
So lovely.
It's gotten better, though. Yeah. I did images recently, and it's still there, but it's better.
Well, and you've done a lot of like work to break it up.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Which helps. Which is why I think massage is super valuable. If you can find a good one, and you can tolerate the pain.
I mean, I have my wife stand on me and kick me to get my back, so...
It works, though.
It does. She's good.
When she did it to me, I was like, holy cow.
The other day, my back was so bad, she basically just stood on me and went, Phoom, and then she started kicking everything into position. And she got some really low ones. It was really nice.
Oh, that's always nice. The low ones are the ones I fight with.
Mm-hmm.
And then my like sacrum and my SIs are always out and always bad.
I can't.
And my PT doesn't believe that I dislocate, which is stupid. I was talking about my my SIs.
Yeah.
And I was like, they're always out, and she was like, well, that's normal. They're like always tight after surgery. And I was like, no, they're out. And she was like, yeah, no, they're not out. They're tight. And I was like, but I know the difference. Please believe me. I know.
And then you have imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Full circle.
Yeah, there you go.
That's how it ties back.
It's so lovely. It's not my favorite. Yeah. They're like, you didn't dislocate. I'm like, I think I would fucking know.
It's pretty obvious when it happens.
Right. Well, and I remember having my knees dislocate early.
Yeah.
Early on. And knowing that they were dislocated. Or they would lock. I used to get the locked knees.
I just assumed that it was a normal thing up until I was in my 20s. Like my knees would get messed up if I would kneel. That would like always be a thing.
Yeah.
And then I had a thought and I lost it. Come back, pretty thought. Come back to me. It's gone.
We made full circle to imposter syndrome.
We did.
Knees dislocating in Grand Lake.
Yep. It's gone.
Okay.
It was something about my back.
Oh.
Who cares?
But yeah, no, I think the adhesion thing is interesting. Because, yeah, when I put it in the groups were like, yeah, that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had never heard it anywhere else. And never, like, looked, like, in all of my digging, anytime I found abdominal adhesions, because, like, all of my searches brought me back to that.
Right.
I was like, this is it. And all I could see was, like, caused by surgery. And then tiny, or chronic inflammation, which we have.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it makes sense. Like, our bodies, we don't scar normally.
No.
So why would we scar normally inside?
Yeah, normally you're supposed to get like a bump.
Yeah.
Think about that. Like, all my scars are indented, kind of.
Uh-huh. Well, or like mine are like paper thin on the top.
Yeah.
So I've got like a lot of like fibrous tissue around them.
I have one normal one I got when I was a kid.
I have no normal. I just scar from everything.
Yeah.
Like anything and everything that touches my skin scars. Everything scars. It's so frustrating. And I used to hate it when I was a kid because I was just covered in scars.
Right.
And I was like, my knees don't look good and everybody else's knees look good and everyone else has really nice skin and I just didn't my whole childhood. I was very upset about it.
You just look like a badass covered in battle wounds.
I know. You're like, yeah, what are all these from? I don't know.
Wild monkey knife fight.
Yes. That's what I'm going to tell people now.
That's what I used to say.
That's awesome.
When I was in the teenage years, because I had like all sorts of random shit happen.
Yeah.
Be like, what happened to you? Wild monkey knife fight.
I love
They
it.
don't ask questions after that. They should.
It's perfect.
They really should ask you, why were you fighting a monkey in the wild with a knife? But whatever.
And where was this wild monkey?
Yeah, what? Where did you encounter a monkey in Colorado?
Yes.
Places.
So one of these was talking about, like showcasing some online stores that work with like EDS patients. So like Body Braid, for instance.
Oh,
It was designed
yes.
specifically in mind, with EDS in mind.
I'm not very knowledgeable about that whole end of things.
Yeah. Because I don't know. We don't buy things unless we're like at the end of our rope.
Yeah, no, it takes a lot. Because we've been using Ace bandages and like over-the-counter braces forever.
Well, and Ace bandages are like my go-to.
Yeah.
When I've messed something up. So I'm like, this will cause pressure.
Well, and once you know how to like
Yay.
wrap your shoulder, like your arm to keep your shoulder from moving, like you got everything with an Ace bandage. You could do
Right.
anything
Right.
with enough bandages.
With enough bandages, I can rule the world. Let me go back to the other one. So eventually we'd like to do an episode on like the skin issues of EDS.
Oh man.
And we have a lot of comments from some people in the groups to talk about different skin issues. So that'll be really cool.
I'll make sure.
But I
we
think
get
that
to
is going to be an episode all of its own because
it's a big one.
it is a big one.
It's a doozy.
It was interesting though as I was going through it because I learned that like we're not the only chronic skin pickers either,
Oh yeah.
which is nice to know.
Well, when you heal backwards.
Yeah, because what my body is so weird. It does this like, it closes it to a circle and then it fills this empty space with scar tissue, but it's not attached to anything.
Yeah.
And so it just becomes this like hard knot inside, which I hate. Are you okay?
You didn't hear that, did you?
I did. What was it?
It's my thumb.
That was your thumb? Ow.
It's my thumb. That's why I stopped. I was like, oof.
Crunch. Crunchy, crunchy, crunchy. So yeah, so eventually we'll dive into the skin issues for EDS.
Yeah. I wish I had more examples of really good skin issues.
Well, the
I
bruising.
Yeah.
The bruising, the scarring.
I'll just have a rough week. I'll
The
just bump into
sensitive
things.
skin. Oh my god. I have a bruise that's finally growing. I, like a dumbass, so I do this thing where I like to call it pick a direction and stumble.
Yes. It's like throwing yourself in a direction.
Yes.
You're like, that direction, move.
And then I just let gravity take over and I stumble that way.
Yeah.
And I did it the other day, only I was like in a hurry, so I was like skipping and stumbling like an idiot. And I skipped directly into a door frame.
And hit the back of your
pinched-
arm.
Yeah, and pinched off like the whole back of my arm on this door frame.
The only way it looks like that's possible is if you were skipping backwards.
No, I was skipping and I hit the door frame and I stumbled back and just smashed it.
Did you go, fuck, and then walk away?
It was special. Pretty close, yeah. Yeah. Whew. It was great. I do that a lot.
Yeah.
Or like my proprioceptional change, and then I take my right side off a lot. And it's always my right side. I don't know why. Like I don't have a sense of where my body is on the right.
I get that. I body check everything on my right side.
Yeah. Everything.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is. I'm going to run into it. If it's on my right, I'm running it over.
Yeah. You look like you're drunk. It's like, no, I'm just, I have no idea where my arms are.
When I was the para, I used to do it every time I walked into this teacher's classroom. And she didn't like having our kids anyway, so it was always like an ordeal to go in there. And every time I walked in or out of that classroom, I ran into the same bookshelf and knocked something over while she was teaching.
She probably thought you were doing it on
I
purpose.
know.
Like, God, what is her problem?
This was pre-diagnosis too, so I was
Oh
just
my
like, I don't
God.
know. I just keep taking my arms off, running into things constantly. It's ridiculous.
Oh, man.
And then half my bruises aren't even from trauma. They're just there.
Yeah.
This one, I have a line for a bruise from a vein that just was like, we're gonna leak along this trail. I was like, okay, I guess. Whatever. That's fine. But it looks like someone's been beating me.
It does. You look abused.
It's not good.
You need to get that shit in check.
No. My parents thought my now husband abused me. Because I was always covered in bruises.
Jen bruises easily, too.
You're always like, someone's going to think that they beat me.
Yeah.
That's always my worry. I get really annoyed because I'm like, somebody is going to think that my husband beats me.
Yeah, they're going to pull you aside and be like, are you okay? You can tell me.
And then I'm going to have to laugh really hard, and they're not going to understand why.
She's just psychotic.
Yeah. Especially because they're like always on like the backs of my arms.
Yeah, sometimes
they look like fingerprints.
Yeah.
Because they're like little perfect circles a lot of the time. Yep. Yeah.
We're not supposed to be talking about skin issues, though. We're saving that for a whole episode.
Yes. Sorry, my bad.
We've broken the rule. Season 2 is ruined. Sorry, guys. Go home.
We're discarding this whole episode. Goodbye.
Oh, God. No.
Take the banner down. We're done. No more.
Just stand up, rage quit, rip it off the wall.
Knock over everything.
I'm gonna tip over the camera. No.
That's how we're ending the episode.
Rage quit.
We're in a mood today, I think.
It's season 2. We're excited.
Yay!
We can do whatever we want. New rules.
Let chaos reign.
New rules, new life. Same old body.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about flinging ourselves, they'll just go that direction and everything will go with me. It's really what it is, though. Yeah. You like, there are days when you can't.
You just
walk.
use momentum to get someplace.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, I can keep myself on 2 feet for the most part, and we'll just stumble in that direction over there. Like I almost knocked over I almost fell into Jen's desk the other day.
Yeah.
It was like, just pick a direction and go. Yeah. It's like Buzz Lightyear. It's not flying, it's falling with style. It's just not falling with style. Almost falling with style.
It's like the opposite of that. It's falling
with
horribly.
No style.
It's a prolonged fall.
I'm pretending I know how to walk. I don't.
It's my new thing. I'm pretending to walk.
I never learned.
Yeah.
No one ever taught me.
Here's something that just occurred to me. There, the whole zebra spectrum, right?
Yeah.
Do you think people who have lighter symptoms feel like it doesn't count, like they're not visible enough because it's not as bad as because we had a comment about how bad it is for us versus the person. I don't look at it like that. EDS is still EDS. Right. You're still dealing with things.
Right. Well, and it's like we talk about a lot with comparative suffering.
Do you think that they have a higher, like a harder time with it because it's not like, I've had 8 surgeries and you know what I mean?
Right.
I see you. You count in my heart. Yeah. I mean, it should be good enough, right?
Right. Well,
one person.
It's like we say, like comparative suffering is not the way, friends.
Yeah.
Suffering is suffering, and suffering is a universal experience. Doesn't matter what kind of suffering. Mm-hmm. Everybody suffers in one way or another. So I don't think, and it would make me really sad to know that someone was using this to compare themselves to and using us as a metric.
Right.
Because like we've had Bug does it.
Yeah, our brother.
And that's really sad. That's really hard for us to
we're
swallow.
To him, we're like postmarkers in his journey. Right. He's like, at this age, it's going to be this bad. And at this age, it's like, it doesn't have to be, though.
Right. Well, and he found out younger, and he has a better chance of not ending up quite as damaged.
Yeah, I don't think he realizes how much I damaged myself for how long.
Right. Well, like the stubborn damage. Like, this hurts. Do it some more.
It's like double damage.
Yeah. Double down. I'm doubling down on my body damage.
I had an owie, now I have a ooey. Ooh. Yeah. I've breathed through it pain.
How's your face?
Hot.
Yeah.
It feels hot.
It feels you can get that tooth ripped out.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. And then I need fix my sinuses. Yeah. Probably the same thing.
But yeah, no, I want to make it clear that this is not intended as like a metric.
Right.
This is our experience, so that putting it out there so that we can feel less alone, and so that hopefully you feel less alone with your experiences, and knowing that other people understand and have been there and are challenged by the same things.
It's like
I
Vizzy
don't think
said.
the scale matters.
Right. Vizzy was having problems at the doctor, going to the ER.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they had
The
issues.
arm was numb.
Yeah. Remember they had that arm pain.
Yeah, while they were sketching.
Exactly. So they went in, and if it wasn't for us talking about all of my other experiences in the ER, I think they would have been a lot more discouraged, and it would have been a lot mentally harder to deal with.
Yeah.
Because they brushed them off, basically.
It's so frustrating.
Because they did like an x-ray, and that was it. And it's soft tissue nerve issue.
You're like, it's a nerve thing.
I'm sorry, Vizzy.
It's so frustrating. I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's hard. And it's hard when people don't believe that you know your body.
Oh, yeah.
That is so frustrating to me. Like, I live in it. I know. My house is haunted.
Yeah.
I don't care if you believe me or not. Well, that's a lie. I care. That's part of the problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think comparative suffering as a whole is a trap.
Right.
And it's going to be a sink for your energy, and it's not going to be helpful or beneficial.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to be like, I'm not at that level, so I don't want to go in and get it looked at.
Right.
Like, if you can get something taken care of now, do it now, by all means.
Yeah.
If it's big or little. If you can fix something before it's worse, do it.
Yeah.
Don't wait like 4 years and, repeatedly injure whatever arm it is over and over again. So you can't move it. Don't do that. Don't be like me.
Yeah. When I got my shoulder done, I couldn't brush my hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still remember how to move my arm to get it up. Like the track.
You got to get it.
Roll it.
Up and out. Yeah. Shoulder pain's starting to come back on this side.
It's time.
It's only been 2 years.
I got mine to last.
I did not. Well, because they didn't do it right to start with. What was that?
That was a nerve.
Oh. Did you just electrocute yourself?
I stretched out and got zapped. Like, oof. Okay. Well, that was a bad idea. I felt the veins too, like because I
hate that.
hyperextended it. Like you could feel it coming out of the socket.
It's so gross.
Yeah, let's go further. Let's go further.
Just wedge in there.
Let's just
pop it out.
We'll show them. We'll show all of them. Everybody dislocate, and then we'll meet up and we'll show everybody. Then they can't stop us. At least we'll have stopped ourselves, but we'll have done something about it.
We'll rally, and then I'll get really tired and sit down.
We'll use all of the spoons and just.
And no one can hold their signs up for very long because you lose circulation. So we'll all be down here like, hey,
I just imagine a bunch of people lying down in a field.
We exist.
Like, we gathered.
We're here. We're here and we're bendy and we're not happy about it. That's our new motto.
I think we should call it? Yeah.
I think so.
It was hopefully a good episode.
I hope so.
Hopefully everyone enjoyed it, got something out of it. They visit the Facebook.
Yeah.
Leave us comments for sure on either. We're trying to get more of a community going, so
yeah.
Be a part of it.
Because we want to hear from you guys. This is as much for you as it is for us.
Yeah, hang out.
Yeah.
Tell us about your stuff.
On that note, we'll see you guys next time.
Yep.
Ta-ta. Are you talking to the future you? That's not very nice.
I know, that was bad self-touch. I'm sorry.
Like, you apologize to yourself. It's amazing.
You know what you did, though.